Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. I'll be on camera in a minute, just putting on my face.
No worries at all.
Is this the HSS meeting, subcommittee meeting? The Health and Social Services? Hello?
Good evening, Mr. Pruitt. Yes, it is.
Okay, how you doing?
I'm well and yourself. Thank you.
Some new faces, and I thought I was in the wrong place. Plus, I heard Fred Baptiste's voice.
You heard correctly, sir. You heard correctly.
So what do we owe the pleasure of your anointed presence tonight?
Oh, me? See, I'm hurt, so I can't just pop in on a committee meeting. Is that it?
Well, you got so many other things to worry about. Because it would be small potatoes for you.
Not at all. All my committees are big potatoes to me.
Mm. You know the jazz performer Wayne Shorter, the famous saxophonist?
I heard the news about him. I heard
Yeah,
that.
that's too bad. He was one of the greats.
Yeah. The irony is, I'm not big in jazz, but that name is one I've heard. So
Yeah.
that's a loss.
Weather, he was played with Weather Report, Chick Corea.
Oh, sorry, I got kicked off. Sorry about that.
No worries, Madam Chair.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It is now 7:02. We shall start the meeting at 7:05. In the meantime, we will just take the time to introduce ourselves, and then we will start the meeting officially. Good evening, everyone. My name is Francisco Leopold. The second vice chair on the board and the chair for the Health and Social Services. I welcome each and every one of you. We are not starting officially yet, but I'm just to save time. So, Mr. Chair, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, everyone. My name is Fred Baptiste, currently serve as chair of Brooklyn Community Board 9. Commissioner, I want to thank you and the team for coming and joining us this evening. And I'm glad to see everyone from CB9 and all the residents from the district as well.
Thank you, sir. So I'm not seeing Mr. Pruitt. Can those who are members of the committee please introduce themselves, as well as our assistant district manager?
Yeah, I'm not seeing myself either,
I can see you. Just go ahead and introduce yourself. I can see you.
Okay,
We can
well,
see you.
I'm Wilfred Pruitt, Health and Social Services Committee, and look forward to a good meeting.
Hilton?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mia Hilton. I'm the Assistant District Manager here at Community Board 9. Good evening and welcome. Yes, ma'am.
I'm seeing is Ms. Harris. You're muted.
Hi, I'm Julie Harrison, Assistant Commissioner for Street Homeless Solutions for DHS.
Ms. Haley.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for having us. Haley Nolasco, Assistant Deputy Commissioner of Intergovernmental and Legislative Affairs from DSS.
Thank you, Ms. Mateo.
Kelly, you mute.
Good evening. My name is Sulai Mateo. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Bronx Family Network, who is the provider of the 205 Parkside.
Okay, and Ms. Wallace, I know I won't be able to go through everyone, and when the time comes and then you have to speak, you will introduce yourself. This is already 7:05. I'll just hear from Ms. Wallace, and then we will
Hi,
start.
good evening, everyone. My name is Shanice Wallace. I'm the Program Director at Parkside Stabilization.
Okay, so good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Health and Social Services platform. I know that we have a presentation from the DHS. The person who is supposed to be sharing, can you please unmute your mic, introduce yourself, and let us know exactly what you are bringing to the platform this evening. And I welcome everyone else who's joining us. I welcome you. Ms. Harris, would that be you sharing this presentation?
Oh, my apologies. My apologies. My mute wasn't going. My mute button wasn't working. Apologies. So again, thank you. Thank you to Community Board 9 for having us here this evening. We are pleased to present on the stabilization site at 205 Parkside that is being operated by Bronx Family Network. If we can briefly just have a introduction of everybody from our side, I think that'd be a great place to start. After we do our introductions, Assistant Commissioner Harris will give a brief overview of what a stabilization site is, and then Bronx Family Network will then proceed with the presentation. And then after that, of course, we'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you all may have. We're here to answer and be as transparent as possible. So please feel free to ask us all of the questions you may have after the presentation. So again, my name is Haley Nolasco, and I'm the Assistant Deputy Commissioner of Intergovernmental and Legislative Affairs. I will pass it on over to my team to introduce themselves next. Yuri.
Hi, good evening all. I'm Yuri Sanchez. I'm the Brooklyn Borough Director here at the Department of Social Services, Intergovernmental Affairs, and I'll pass it along to my counterpart, Abigail.
Hello, everyone. My name is Abigail Aberdeen, and I'm a Community Coordinator at IGA.
Thank you. Pass it on over to DHS.
Hi, I'm Julie Harrison. I'm the Assistant Commissioner. I previously introduced myself. I'm very happy to be here with each of you and to provide whatever insight I can.
Wonderful, thank you. Bronx Family Network.
I think they.
So good evening once again. My name is Sulai Mateo. I am the Chief Executive Officer for Bronx Family Network. We are happy to join this meeting this evening, and thank you for the invitation. As Ms. Nolasco said, we're here to answer any questions that you guys might have and do a brief introduction of who we are as an organization and what we're looking forward to working as a partnership with CB9 in our community, at Parkside. Should I just talk about the as a provider, or?
I'll just give a brief introduction before you start, Zuli Matelo. The Department of Homeless Services runs a portfolio of different types of shelters. This particular site at 205 is a stabilization site, a low threshold bed program for those who are living undomiciled in the community, who need a safe place to come inside to restore dignity and get them connected to services while they're with us pursuing permanent housing. You can go now, Ms. Mateo.
Okay, thank you. So while we were scouting places, we realized when we chose 205 Parkside that there was a need in the community for a stabilization site like the one that we offer. Bronx Family Network runs different locations in New York City. We have Family with Children location, stabilization, and also single man shelter. But one of our strongholds is stabilization. We understand the need of our community, and we understand the need of having a clean and safe environment where someone can reassess and restart their life. We have a team of case managers and housing specialists that will sit with individual, do an assessment and work with them throughout their stay with us to make sure that as they come in through our door, we can help them to achieve their next goal, which at the end of the tunnel, it will be a permanent home. That being said, we try to connect them with different resources in the community, but also outside the community, such as trainings or services that they might need in order for us to, help them achieve a permanent home at the end of their transition with us. We have on site a 24-hour security personnel, as well as our own staff residential aid in 3 shifts. We have staff from 8 to 4, 4 to 12, from 12 to 8. So there's always someone on site. We do have a contact number that you guys can reach it on site. But as well, Ms. Wallace and I are willing to share our contact information. We definitely would like Stevie Knight to be a partner with us as we continue to work in the community. And as soon as we are able to help our neighbors for them to have a place that they can be restart their life and they can have a safe environment to be in. Our shelter provides 3 meals a day, so there's food, clean place for them to stay. They have shared bathrooms, shared kitchen. Everyone that comes there, they actually are referred by DHS and also by our community partner that is working with the street homelessness. So we try to do our best to make sure that our clients and then I'll say our members of your community that are our clients today and others that will be our clients in the future have a comfortable place to stay and to restart their their process in life.
And Ms. Mateo, could we show the slide so they could get a visual of what the location looks like that you just mentioned?
I thought we have, I don't know if you guys shared through an email, but I just have a, picture here. So this is, I don't know if you guys can see, so this is how a typical room looks like. And this is a kitchen in here, which has a microwave. It has a private refrigerator.
We can't see anything.
Yeah, they're not going to be able. I'm sorry. If I have permissions, if I could have permissions to share the screen, I'm more than happy to pull it up so that everybody can see it a little bit.
Yeah.
Will it be possible for me to get the permissions?
Sure, I've just made you co-host.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, is everyone able to see it?
Yes. Because
Yes.
Okay, so I know Ms. Mateo went over, she went over the majority of the slides already, but I really thought it would be great for you all to be able to see visually what the location looks like. And I think this is where you were leaving off.
Yes, so so I guess the black is a locker, so this is a closet that they keep their stuff. We also have regular closets. They'll have their own twin size bed with blankets and towels and things like that, as well as a dining table and a chair. Some of the rooms have a dining table in the middle. But what we want to show you guys is that I guess sometimes we visualize shelters differently than what they are today. And this is the kind of place that we offer to our clients at 205 Parkside. And we have, around the clock maintenance personnel to make sure the place is clean and to maintain the place clean, not only in the inside, but also outside our facility. We have, a super maintenance staff and a dedicated staff to make sure that we're doing the right thing by our clients and also by, the neighborhood that we're part of today.
And these smaller settings allow Bronx Family Network to work more individual with clients coming through the front door than the larger maybe congregate settings. You can create a more intimate atmosphere in the space to allow for more one-on-one work to take place.
Yes, and we currently have the capacity of 66 clients. We are very DHS and ourselves, we're very being selective of the clients that we're bringing in. So right now we only have 14 clients currently on site. As we continue to grow the population, we just want to make sure that that the clients that we bring in, we are able to provide the services that they need. And that's the reason why, you know, we are slowly growing the capacity of the facility.
Great, thank you so much. And then would we can also give a quick would you like to give a quick overview of the staffing structure?
Yeah, so currently we have a directors with Ms. Shanice Wallace. She's also on this meeting. We have directors of operations, Mr. Jose de los Santos, senior case manager, Ms. Carolina de los Santos. We have case manager, Mr. Rodrigo Strokes, with 4 years plus of experience, and as well as LaToya Taylor, who has 4 years. Ms. Wallace has been in this business for over 10 years. She's the director, and Mr. Jose de los Santos, over 15 years of experience. We have a very experienced staff working with this population, and we also part of a larger leadership team that we, consult with each other. I myself have been in business also for over 15 years, working with not only this population, with family with children. So we have a very close relationship and knowledge with the population that we service. As I mentioned in the past, when a client comes through our door, they'll meet with a case manager. A case manager will assess the client needs, and from there we build a strategy to make sure that we assist the client the best our capabilities. If we feel that client has a different need that we don't service at the time, so then we speak with our DHS partners to find them, the client a better suitable location that will work with their current needs. But I just wanted to, reiterate that our staff, have a lot of experience, and that we have a small facility, and we will work directly with the individual to make sure that we are creating strategies to allow them to regroup and move into permanent housing.
Okay, thank you. And the last slide.
So the last slide just shows basically some of the things that we do. We do outreach. We try to refer them to medical facility if it's something that we identify that some things that they need. And then we also work with other non-for-profits to make sure that we are helping our clients. That could be clothes donation, whatever things that they need, or maybe training sites. So we try to create linkage in the community if it needs to be also outside the community, in order for us to be able to assist the client and provide the services that they need.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for the presentation. Would you be able to share the number so everyone could be aware of what's the number they should reach out to if they have any concerns?
Yes, it's in the first part of the presentation. Our contact number is 718-635-9036. That is the shelter location. My cell phone number that I would love to share with everyone is 914-672-9440. We work in the homeless system, and we are available 24/7. So if you think 1 o'clock in the morning, if something emergency is too late, just give us a call. I would also like to share Ms. Wallace contact number. Ms. Wallace, can you do that?
Sure, it's 929-591-9715.
Wonderful. Thank you both so much. And I think now we could
Ms. Wallace,
open up-
Ms. Wallace, can you repeat your number again, please?
929-591-9715.
Okay, thank you. So thank you so much to Bronx Family Network. We could now open up to any questions that you all may have. Again, we're very happy to answer any questions.
How are your clients?
Hold on a minute. Hold on. I don't want questions just flying off the floor. So I would like each person, please go into the reaction and raise your hand, and you will be acknowledged, because everyone will be talking over each other. So Mr. Pruitt, you go ahead, but any other persons who need, please use the hand reaction. Go ahead, Mr. Pruitt.
Yeah, I was wondering, how are your clients sourced? What are the feeder networks that provide you your clients, and how long do they get to stay?
We have, in the city of New York, the Department of Homeless Services has 5 outreach teams that service the 5 boroughs. In the borough of Brooklyn, it is serviced by the Breaking Ground outreach team that covers the entire borough of Brooklyn. They also service Queens. So any client being referred to the site will come through the outreach team or another provider team. We also get referrals oftentimes from community stakeholders who identify people. The outreach team would go and engage with that individual to get the pertinent information in order to create a referral, to bring somebody to the front door and to provide a warm handoff. Since each person's journey to homelessness is unique to that individual, we don't set definitive timelines. We work individually with each client to move along a trajectory to permanent housing, or sometimes it's reunification with family. Sometimes it's some other alternative thing that they may desire or want. You know, if they don't have family in New York, it might be through Project Reconnection. So the time frame is individualized. We want to meet their immediate needs in the beginning, but then the constant engagement with them lets us know what they need and where they see themselves in their return to community. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, that's very clear.
Thank you. Sissy?
Good evening. I just had a question about job placements or job training, and also the success rate of your program, and actually transitioning people from shelter to permanent housing, because I know you've run multiple facilities, so you have some I guess a track record, and then also whether or not the shelter will be an all-male shelter or male-female. So I just want to get an idea of the composition of the shelter as well.
The
Okay, so-
shelter, go ahead, Zule.
No, our shelter is a mixed shelter, so we have male and female. Right now we have 14 beds allocated for females and the rest for male, but if there's a need for more open female bed, so we will open that as well. And in reference to our, I guess, success rate with moving to permanent housing, like Ms. Harris said before, everyone has a different trajectory. So some people would require, some people are just in the homeless system because they lost their job and they will be able to, to get it together in time. So they, so they are living in the street, and they maybe have some training that we can send them to training and they'll be able to get a job fairly quickly and then move into permanent housing. Other people might require some different kind of housing, but everyone has a different trajectory. There's a success story that in 6 months, someone can get a housing voucher and move into permanent housing. Other clients will take a longer time in order for them to assess their needs, accomplish their barriers, and then move into permanent housing. So it's a different time frame for everyone, but our target is to move everyone that comes through our door into permanent housing at the end of their stay with us.
Okay, that answered your question, Sissy? Okay.
The only thing it didn't answer is whether or not you have data as to what is the average time that it takes to transition, whether it's to permanent housing, to some alternative housing. So is it typically a 6-month stay to permanent housing, or whatever the other options are, or is it a year? So I just wanted to see, whether or not the services are really very good for kind of our community.
Well, typically across the DHS shelter system, we approximately, and everybody's case is very different. There are different individuals, there's individuals that may have different barriers that may make their timeline of being in shelter a little different. But on average, an individual in shelter across our system would be around a year from them to be in shelter until permanency. But of course, that can be shorter. Somebody can be in placement for less than 3 months, and somebody can be in placement for a little over a year as well, or over a year as well. So it
Okay,
could vary
thank you.
based on case. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, I will acknowledge Suki and Miss Moses soon. I just, I'm happy to hear that you would love to collaborate with the community board so further the work that you are doing with the shelter. My question to you is, how long have you been there? Because when the email came through, that was the very first time I was hearing that there was a facility on Parkside. I didn't know that this facility was there. So that's my first question to you. And also, I know in the past with shelters in the community, the complaints that came towards is that even when the time comes for those individuals to transition out and back into the community to go live on their own, when it comes to housing, the housing manager, the program person who is in charge to place them, the responsibility is left on their own. So if there is an apartment that is available, and then the program manager would have reached out to that person and they said, okay, we have a 1-bedroom apartment available, a 2-bedroom apartment available, they now turn that over to the client, and the client have to go on their own. And it happens that most of the time the clients, they never get the apartment that they are looking for. So my question is to you is that, do you have someone who is there to follow through when that person is ready to go back out there? They are working and they're ready to go back there to be out there to be on their own. Is there somebody who follows through with them to they put in front of an apartment and make sure the paperwork and everything go through, and this person could go out there on their own?
Ellie, can I
Yes.
answer that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll start with how clients get vouchers. The city has a plethora of voucher, different types of subsidy programs, and depending on what the individual needs, if it's supportive housing, it's a different route. If it's a City for HEP voucher, it's a different route. If they're looking for Section 8 or HPD or what we call 1515, we have 421A units. There are different units that we make available. So there's a housing specialist, there's a case manager. The Department of Homeless Services has a rehousing unit that processes all housing packages for clients, whether they're in the single adult system, the family system, wherever they are, or part of street. While clients are with us, they are still connected to their outreach teams that initially engaged them on the street. Once they are permanently placed, that outreach team can remain 3 to 6 months with a client. The client is also at exit provided with a bunch of resources while in community, such as home-based and other prevention services. They can also always contact their prior placement if something is happening while they're living in community. So they are never abandoned. The goal is not only to get them back to community, but to stay with them once they return to the community. So we do that. That's all part of the prevention services that we provide to our clients. We don't want the revolving door. We want people to become stable in community. But let me just say this, just like each of us, clients have autonomy to make decisions about whether or not they want to continue that relationship. So if there are stories about clients not getting support and services, even though that may be true, that is not the overarching policy of the Department of Homeless Services. And people will fall through cracks, as I said, because autonomy allows them to make the decision when they're leaving us to, say, I don't want any further relationship with you.
I just want to add to that. When someone is given a voucher by the Department of Homeless Services, our job, not only the housing specialist, the case manager, but the director, is to make sure that our client is escorted to view that apartment. We go in, we fill out the application with the client. Even before we get there, we make sure that our clients have all the personal documentation, because many people that live on the street, when they come in, they might not have their ID card, they might not have their Social Security card. So we help the client get prepared to, obtain their birth certificate, Social Security card, photo ID. So when they meet with a broker, we actually are there with them, escorting them. Even if we have to tell them, hey, this is the kind of shirt you have to wear today, we actually help them prepare to make sure that they have a great presentation, so they're not judged by their appearance, by the type of communication that they have. Once we got a voucher and the client, we identify a unit for the client, we walk through them through the process. We walk them through the process until they sign that lease and show us the key. And we are happily also to provide them some toiletries for them to start their new life in their new apartment, and show them that they have to put a light bill under their name. So we don't just send them to get an apartment by themselves, because we know that a lot of them have not had that experience before.
Well,
So
let me
I'm
just
not
say-
sure. Go
Let
ahead.
me just add this other caveat that I left out. For any client that's receiving a voucher from the city of New York, our rehousing unit has to go out, and that unit has to be inspected before any lease or anything broker paperwork can be completed. So every unit is inspected to make sure that the sockets are there, that that there's a temperature check, that the electricity is in place. We don't move people out through any broker without that being in place, because the city of New York will not process that package. So we call it the apartment clearance checklist review that's done now. Because we used to get these things where people would go out and get a unit and you know, make allegations that the unit was not suitable for human habitation. And to avoid all that, the city created a whole rehousing unit, and that's what they do. Apartment checklist clearances, go over paperwork, make sure everything is lined up so the person can go into a unit that's fully functioning.
Thank you.
And I'm
Mr.
happy to
Chair?
answer. Oh, apologies.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I just wanted to make sure that we also answered there were two parts to your question.
Yes,
So
yeah.
I know the initial part of your question was around timeline. So around DHS policy is to notify the community no less than 30 days before a shelter is open. Just for transparency, as you all may be aware, the city has been dealing with a crisis with a lot of individuals, mostly asylum seekers, coming into the city seeking shelter. And since May, we've had to cite about actually 92 emergency shelters to be able to meet the need for individuals seeking shelter. And of course, as an agency and as a city, we have to meet our legal and moral obligation. What does that mean? That means that not only are we providing shelter to our indigenous everyday New Yorkers, but also to our new New Yorkers as well. And as a result, we're still in a pandemic, although we are coming back in person, but we are also facing a pandemic. And within our shelter system, we also have to have spaces for individuals to be able to isolate safely. And this location was actually opened as an emergency site prior to it actually being open as an operational stabilization site. So of course, our apologies on our end for the quick turnaround, because for us, and typically we would have already, if all things were normal, if there is ever a normal time, we would have let you all know, of course, no less than 30 days, we would have had this presentation before opening officially. So of course, our apologies as an agency, because we definitely would have liked to honor that prior to opening. But we wanted to make sure that we did come in front of the community to have this conversation on the early onset, so that we can answer any conversations and continue to have partnership. So that's the reason why there was like this quick turnaround of, hey, I'm just getting this information now. What would happen here? So that's the background of why we had to open so quickly and didn't have the opportunity to have this presentation in the front end. But as Ms. Mateo mentioned before, there has been a slow ramp up since the transition to the actual stabilization site. This location does have capacity for 66 and does have currently has 14 clients. So there has been a slow ramp up there, but wanted to be transparent about why that, the timeline may be a little different to what we're used to.
Thank you.
You're
I
very
have
welcome.
no questions, but I have 3 of my colleagues here. So I'm calling the chair, Mr. Baptiste, and then followed by Ms. Moses and Sophie.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I'll defer to the end.
Okay, Ms. Moses?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Before I ask my question, I don't think that you answered when did you open? You didn't answer that. What month? What are you
We
open?
opened in February the 3rd, so we were open like almost a month now.
So you've been open a whole month, February 3rd.
February 3rd, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we
So-
notified on the 2nd, and initially as an emergency site, we opened on December 23rd.
Okay. I'm very familiar with the area and and where your residence is. Now you said you had 14 you have a capacity of 14 females and 52 males. I would like to know what the age group is and do you separate the males from the females? Are they different floors or are they all together?
So the females are currently on the first floor of the facility, and the males are from the second to the third and the fourth. Our age group starts from 18.
18 to,
There's no
cap.
endings.
there's no
There's
ending?
no cap.
Okay, we'll
No,
see.
so it starts from 18.
Okay, great. Now, in front of where your facility is, there's some benches out there. I mean, you see those benches that out there. So do your clients sit in those benches? Because I see a lot of people sitting on those metal benches that's right outside of your facility.
No. So at 205, we have a no hangout policy for our clients. We try to engage our clients inside of the facility. We try to maintain them inside the facility. And we always tell them no fraternizing in front of the building or outside hanging out. If they want to do that, there's a park like a couple blocks down from the facility, but outside hanging out, no, we don't allow that.
So I just also wanted to add, when we chose that location, I noticed myself because I did the walkthrough that there were many people, street homelessness outside in those benches. And that's one of the reasons I mentioned to DHS, hey, this could be a good location because I can definitely see the need. The current population or the current neighbors that you see outside the facility, they're not our clients, but we will reach out to our Breaking Grounds team for them to engage those clients, those potential clients or our neighbors that are there, because we do have space for, safe and environment, a safe and clean environment that they be able to come into, but they're not our clients. Our clients have their own room in the building. Like Ms. Wallace said, we do not allow them to, to hang in front of the building. We actually, something that when we sit together for assessment right away, we told them that we do not accept for them to hang out in the front of the building. We also, our security team also do perimeter checks. They could go outside and they kind of walk through outside to make sure that we don't have no one hanging outside, as well as our maintenance team. They make sure that outside the building is always clean.
Thank you. And the last question is, would we as board members and staff of the community board be able to come in and actually tour your facility?
Yes, we would be happy. Well, of course, members of the community board, we would be happy to coordinate a tour.
Okay, thank you.
Just I would just say to be in contact with my team, and then we will be more than happy to collaborate.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Moses. That was one of my questions. Thanks for asking. I'm Suki.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Does Bronx Family Network have a contract for this shelter with DSS? And are there any documents on file, like the operational plan, the site plan, security plan? Would you be able to forward those documents to the district manager?
So they are definitely in a working contract with the agency. I would just have to circle back with that unit to see how far along the process is and what's able to be shared, but more than happy to circle back there. And as far as the security
there's
plan,
not a contract currently. Do you expect there to be one?
So I will, I will defer to DHS.
Okay.
As Haley said, we work with our capacity and planning division. I don't have an answer for what you're asking us now, but we would definitely circle back with a response and follow up on what can be shared from our capacity planning division.
Okay, so you don't actually, it's not something that goes through the mayor's office of contract services where there's actually a public hearing and the contract is public.
So we do, it does.
Okay.
It does. We do have, but there's a lot of documents that have to go through legal in order for us to share. But we do have a contract, and we are having a security contract as well. But I'm sure DHS will forward to any information you guys might need for that. That would be through DHS.
Okay, and how many individual apartment units is it right now?
We have 19 apartment units.
Okay, and so there's how many beds per apartment?
It varies. Some apartments
Varies.
have multiple rooms, so it varies the amount of beds in the units.
So like most of them are 2-3 bedrooms.
So most of them are 2 bedrooms, and you will have 2 people per bedroom. You know, and we have most of them are 2 bedrooms. I do not know the exact number, but all capacity 66, and we currently have 14 clients on site.
Okay, and each apartment has its own kitchenette and bathroom and
That's
Yes.
correct.
okay. And just like I kind of had the same feeling as Miss Moses with the 14 women and the 52 men. That's as a woman, that ratio is a little bit concerning sounding to me. And I just was wondering, isn't it more normal to have shelters that are all female or all male unless it's a family shelter?
No, and within DHS, especially on the street side, the configuration is very different because we find women tend to have children. So we often can't fill sites with just females. So we have mixed population sites so the outreach teams have more engagements with males in the community. There's always been a more pressing need to bring on male beds. So the mixed configuration, they're separated by floor. So it's 14 women. It's not in what happens is your question, Suki, is about when we get to program shelters. There are program shelters within the network of shelters that DHS operate that are strictly for women, but for stabilization sites, they are generally mixed population sites.
And I just want to add to that too. So right now we're saying that it's 14 beds for female and 52, but if the ratio changes, for example, in a room, there's always going to be only females or only male. So if we happen to get now the request for 30 female beds, so some of the beds that might be being assigned for male, it will convert to female. It's just the need of the street. But as Ms. Harris was saying, a street homeland, there's more male out there, so that's why we're saying that. But as I mentioned earlier, I do have another site in Brooklyn as well that is a civilization, and it's a mixed site. So we have them actually by rooms, not by floor. So in Parkside, we decided to establish it by floor to start. But if the need, as we continue to grow, changes, so we will make arrangement and change some of the configuration.
Okay, and final question, do you require your clients to be out during the day?
No, that's what makes us unique from a lot of other programming is that they can remain on site, they can participate in recreation, they can stay in their room if they so choose.
What types of programmed recreational activities do you have?
Well, of course, there's TV space. There will be board games, arts and craft if they so choose. I mean, like we said, we only have 14 clients now. Part of our work with all our providers is to make whatever recreational activities that we offer something that the clients would be interested in, something they want to participate in. Maybe that's just reading books and establishing a library. With 14 clients, we're not quite there yet. But if community has suggestions, I'm sure Ms. Wallace and others that do the day-to-day work would be more than happy to take on some of those suggestions, because what we hope to do, as I don't know, many of you know, people that have lived on the street have been disconnected. So anything that can improve their socialization and make them feel they are part of a community, that's what we want to have in the stabilization site.
Okay, and just one last question. The 14 clients who are there now, are they women or are they mixed?
So right now they are mixed. We have 10 males and 2 females currently on site.
Okay. Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Baptist?
This is how effective this committee is. Most of my questions have been asked and answered. So I do want to thank everyone for coming in and saying that. I think my only comment, and I guess this is just more in terms of us growing together as partners in the future, that was definitely a concern that was brought up before with regards to the very quick turnaround in terms of the notice is like, okay, well, yeah, by the way, there's a shelter temporary within 30 days. Okay, by the way, it's gonna be a permanent shelter and this is what it is. You know, we want to make sure that we're able to support. We want to make sure that we understand. We want to make sure that we're able to be good partners. I was very satisfied with a lot of the questions that were asked. I'm glad to know that, you know, one of the concerns of mine would have been that, okay, well, listen, they're here at the bed. Otherwise, during the day, go out there and see what you do. Just don't come back until 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Because I think we've seen that work in other communities, and that's been an issue, point of contention. I'm glad to see that they're in a place that they're being supported. That's fantastic. I think you hit it on the head. It's like, listen, it's a legal and moral obligation we have with respect to these people, and these people are us. They are our people. So I'm glad to hear that. I think we would just like to make sure that we continue this conversation in terms of, you know, as you grow, as you expand, as programs change, if there's support that you need from the board, that we continue to have that communication. I do want to thank our Health and Social Services Chair for taking this and for calling together and chairing this meeting. And again, thanks to all the committee members and the residents who've shown up this evening. And again, I'm very proud of this board and the work we do and the questions we ask. But thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am very, very pleased with the questions that were asked and the answers that were given, because outside of this network with the community board, I work for the New York City Commission on Human Rights as an associate human rights specialist. And these are there are a lot of those issues that comes to us with, there's a reason why I asked the question, because a lot of persons, and I was so happy, I think it's Haley who said that they go out there and they make sure that the paperwork are done and everything, because persons go out there and anytime they hear, I have a voucher, well, that's it. You're goose cook, you know? So the first thing they will call and say, hey, do you have an apartment? And they said, yes, we do have an apartment. And when the person gets there and all the paperwork is in process, and when they're about to close up, and they said, well, I have a voucher, and then it's a crying game, or you got to come back and it's a story. So I'm so happy that you're following up, you're going there and making sure that everything, all the steps are followed properly, and then the persons are be able to place in the homes. And sometimes even if you have the clients with children, and there are persons who say, well, I'm not accepting persons with children. So it's a whole lot of discrimination that goes out with persons in shelters. I do travel to East New York to many shelters where I have to go and do presentation to let persons know what their rights are and how we can help them. So I'm happy to know that right here in my community right here, that the shelter is there to help persons, and you're not allowing persons to be out on the street. When 8 o'clock, I get a lot of calls and say, hey, Ms. Leopold, you know, when 8 o'clock we have to be out, and then we can come back in the evening. So I'm happy that you have this system going, that persons are able to stay in, and then you're following up. I look at the slideshows that shows also that the free meals for the people, you know. So you have a very good network going on together, and I'm looking forward for us, for my committee, as well as the community board on the whole, to work with you, to support you in what you're doing. Anything that we can do as anything else. If anything is going and it's haywire, anything is going on wrong, we will blow the whistle. When I say blow the whistle, we'll be calling on you. We won't be going to whistle elsewhere. We'll be calling on you and show you our dissatisfaction. But as anything else, that the only thing that was a little bit weird is that not knowing about this shelter, but things do happen. And I'm happy. They said never let them never, but you are here. And then we are happy to partner with you, to work with you, because homelessness is not something that none of us want to experience, and the persons who are experiencing homelessness, any way that we can help them. And another thing I so want to ask you, because I know Haley spoke about one of the persons there spoke about screening people and allowing people to just bring in any person, and she spoke about COVID. So do you screen persons? Is there do they screen them for COVID? And then you find a lot of persons out there, a lot of the things that you're going through, there is mental health issue with person, and persons could come into your establishment and just create havoc. So when it comes to the health side of it, how do you really screen those persons as they come in?
DHS provides COVID testing kits for all our sites through our general warehouse, and clients can test. We still have test and trace as part of for all our shelter. So if someone comes up and is COVID positive, because they're in a shared space, we would definitely, there's a phone number where they go, the site calls, and they be sent into isolation until they're no longer, have COVID. And your other thing was about the rehousing and different things. DHS, like all agencies, we learn things. So the things that you are human rights, we learned that a lot of these things that you spoke about happen in community to our clients, and to make sure that history did not repeat itself with our clients moving out and finding themselves in situations where they're denied housing, or the housing is a mirage. The city created these various units such as rehousing and the clearance unit. And we even do with HRA, we partner with different people to make sure our clients could really benefit through our system and have the supports they need. So lessons learned here.
Okay, so when it comes to any medical services, we have our partners, and we have Kings County, and we have One Brooklyn Health that represents the community. So we are here to work with you. So any help that you may need, I work very close with Kings County Hospital. I'm the chair for the board at Kings County Hospital. And then also we have Miss Dillard, who is part of One Brooklyn Health at Brookdale Hospital. So we are there, we collaborate together, and we work together because we want to make our community safer. We want to take care of the needs, the health needs of our community. So I thank you for being here and for doing what you're doing. Are there any questions? Anyone else have a question or a comment before?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I heard what you said. You said during the daytime, they do recreation and they stay inside, and that sounds nice, but it's not realistic to me. Number one, when it gets hot, I don't think anybody's going to really be staying inside and doing recreation. And I would also want to know, you got homeless people. I mean, there's no job training. I mean, there's nothing that they go outside to train, just do recreation all day long.
No, it's like we said in the beginning. Each person is an individual. You may have one person. It depends. We have people from 18 to 80. A 77-year-old man wouldn't be getting a job that's lost his housing. So depending on what the individual set of needs are, for 18 to 25-year-old, we want to offer vocational services. We want to do linkage with that person to get them on their feet and to get them established. As you said, is in warmer months like anybody else, the encouragement is for them to get into different things in the community, whether it's a job, whether it's a vocational program, whether it's visiting the library. People live like they would live in community. So if they when it gets warm, they might pick the park. They'll pick different locations. There might be a library. Everybody has different interests. Some of our people might be riding a bike. They might belong to a gym. There's a lot of free resources in Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Botanical Garden. So we don't just encourage people to stay in a room. We try to meet their interests.
I just want to add that I think that sometimes people visualize homeless people are just the people that you see on the bench. And that's not how all our clients look. Everyone is a little different. Everyone has a different path while they're in the shelter. So we might have someone that, like I said, in fact, just lost their job 6 months ago and they couldn't get it together. So now they're in a stable place. Now they can restart and go there and get a new job. And they need to be in our shelter until they save some money so they can stabilize themselves, pay whatever they need to pay, and then get the housing voucher and move out. Some people, might need to go to that job training. So Ms. Wallace and myself and the team, our job is to look in the community, see who we can partner with that is going to offer an OSHA training, some type of nursing training, whatever training that we can find close in the community, so our clients and your neighbors can actually go out there and prepare themselves. Some people will be older enough that they will probably just have their SSI check, and with that SSI check, we might be able to get them a voucher and move them to permanent housing and have them survive. So there's different track to every client. So that's why we sit down with the client, we assess their need, see what strategy we can do in order for them to move them into permanent housing. It takes us sometimes 3 months. It can take us a little over a year, but each person is different. So the idea that all our clients look like the one that's sitting in the bench is not true. Some of them look just like us, just like, you know, my hair nice and done with the lipstick on, and they just happen, you know, to have a bad break in life and then just restarting. So I just want you to guys to see that we all look different, and that not everyone looks exactly with the shopping cart pushing down the road, down the street.
Listen, what I'm saying is I understand what you're saying, but when the person, when they ask what do they do during the day, somebody just started doing recreation. And I understand what you're saying. I understand that people have different needs. I just wanted to know, you know, what people do during the daytime. That was it. And I am glad that, you know, you are looking into training programs for, you know, for your clients, and some may need mental health, who knows? But my point is that I just wanted to make it clear that I know that everybody doesn't stay inside all day. Thank you.
So based on the question that was asked and the answer given, what I understood from Ms. Mateo and Ms. Harris is that persons have choices. So then they are in there. So if they wish to stay inside for the day, they stay inside. If they wish to go outside, go for a walk, go for the park, go to a movie or something. Because I'm assuming if you are working, then you have workers there, the place then would be air conditioned. It wouldn't be like a furnace. So persons, if it's very hot outside and they want to stay inside, they stay inside. And if they do so want to go to the park, they go to the park for some fresh air. And then I'm glad that Ms. Moses brought up the point on trainings, because when and Ms. Harris spoke about if you have a younger person, you know, then there are all the agencies that you will partner with so that they can get whatever trainings that they are interested in. So I'm happy that persons have choices, and Ms. Harris made a point. She says that's why they're unique, because a lot of the other facilities around, persons are out on the street and there's nothing going for them, and hence the reason why they get themselves in all sorts of problems, in all sorts of trouble. So as we dialogue more, and I think that you guys have been doing this for a while, as you said, the persons that you work with, they have years of experience. So you know what the needs are and what needs to be done. Tuki?
So I totally hear what Ms. Mateo is saying. Yeah, I have had friends who have been homeless in the past. But back to those people on the bench, I think I live close enough that I see them. I think some of them are quite sick, and I'm wondering if you're equipped to handle them at this shelter, or if you would be more likely to send them to a shelter with kind of like more medical type facilities, something more specialized for someone with serious physical or mental illnesses. Same thing, like, do you do any screening, for example, for people who like might have a serious drug problem or something like that? Are they coming into are you able to handle those types of clients, or are you actually sending them somewhere else?
So I'll start out. What happens is for any client to get into this site or any other stabilization site, the outreach team sends a referral and has spent some time with the individual assessing what maybe their primary issues are. So if somebody has, say, SMI, severe mental health issue, or a substance abuse issue, we have enough types of sites where a decision may be decided. We have sites that are more clinically enriched and can handle somebody with SMI. We have sites where people might have issues with substance abuse, but need to be in an environment where other people are in recovery like them. So the determination can be made, which is the best possible placement for the individual. So if somebody should happen to wind up at the site and gets there and it's say not appropriate, because we don't necessarily, remember when the outreach team engages an individual, a lot of what happens on a referral form is by self-report. Some of it is by observation. The other thing that maybe many of you are not aware of, that every outreach team in the city of New York has what we call street medicine teams that go out, and for the people that you're sitting on the bench, can engage with those individuals and make a pre-assessment of whether or not this is somebody that wouldn't be the fit for a particular type of site. We also, Ms. Leopold mentioned about Kings County. I just want to say we already collaborate with Kings County through Health and Hospital. We also have the utilization of show vans through Health and Hospitals that go out and treat people within the Brooklyn area, in Manhattan, and at various locations. There's a expansion of 8 of those teams as well. For the people that you're seeing sitting on the bench, just like Ms. Mateo said, they're not our clients because we only got there a month ago. But we would work in conjunction with community members. If you identify things or locations to us, we would definitely send the Breaking Ground outreach team to engage those individuals. And let me say this else, because the city is made up of all kind of programming and housing, sometimes the assumption is that an individual is homeless and they are not. It may be somebody already living in supportive housing or living in that very community that's housed. But because the community is not engaging with them and getting them their story, they assume that individual on the bench that they're seeing every day is homeless. But if you reach out to us, we'll definitely send a team. Mr. Pruitt has his hand up.
Point of clarification, the facility that we're talking about is on the corner of Parkside and Flatbush near that Dwayne Reed. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much.
Are there any more questions?
I just have
Yes.
one final point, Madam Chair, if I can.
Okay.
So to the point of making sure that they're included, I would invite for her, was it Ms. Wallace, who's the director?
Wallace?
We have,
Yes.
I would invite, if it's okay with you, we can connect you on our weekly blast. On every week, we get information about things that are going on in the community, events, programs, services, or whatever else. So we typically do that. So if it's something, if you're interested in, we can add you to that. So that way, as we get information, we can share that with you, and you can share that with the residents as well. So if there's anything that may be of interest or helpful to them, they can use those as well.
Definitely.
Okay. And welcome.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Any more questions? Go ahead, Myra. Go ahead. Audio.
Barely.
Try and act it out for us.
Oh, good. Better now.
Is this better?
Better.
Yeah.
Yes.
No?
Yes,
Yes,
better.
yes.
Yeah, yes.
Yes, yes.
This is better?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. When clients come in, if they have, some people are on the street with their belongings, are they allowed to bring all of their belongings or some of them, or do they have to discard them?
DHS has a policy because remember, sites have limited space. It is 2 bags of belongings, but what we do have is HRA. We partner with HRA, so if they have things that they don't want to discard, they can. This is the thing, the whole thing with the outreach teams, a lot of this is done before they come in. The outreach works with them to condense down to 2 bags to bring into a site. So that may be already going to HRA and saying, this is a homeless person, let's establish a case, let's get their stuff in storage.
Okay, so they do have storage just in case?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. So it's now 8:04. If we don't have any more comments or any more questions, Ms. Harris and Ms. Mateo, if you want to give any final remarks. I want to wish everyone a good night, and Ms. Mateo, so Ms. Harris, any final say, or Ms. Wallace?
I just thank and appreciate the community board for having us. We definitely want to be a good partner. I'm so happy that you allow us to become a part of your community. So please reach out to the parties. You can certainly, my email address is there. You can certainly reach out to me for any high-level concerns as we go forward.
And I also, as you said, so before Ms. Mateo go, before I forget, because you see, whenever something comes to my mind, I have to speak it out, because old age, I have no control over that brain. I forget stuff really quickly, so it has to come out. And we meet, this committee, the Health and Social Services, we meet the first Thursday of every month. So I'm assuming that they would put you on our mailing, on our list, so then whenever the notification is going out, so any updates, if you want to come in to get any updates from us, or you have anything to share, please come join the platform, join the committee, and then we will work together, collaborate together, and then we'll support each other as we continue this venture. Go ahead, Ms. Mateo.
No, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to allow us to present tonight, also to have the opportunity to send those any information you guys have on your bulletin, on your board, to Ms. Wallace. Like that, we know exactly what's going on in the community. And like we have shared our contact information, please feel free to contact us if anything that is a concern, or when you guys, speak to me in Alaska in order to come to visit our site. Just want to know that we are a partner, and that we feel that we want, that we are neighbors now, and we want to act as a good faith and good neighbors, and make sure that we have good communication.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And also, I would just like to second that as well. Just thanking everyone again for your patience, for bringing us into the community. Just want to say thank you for that, and also to please hold us accountable. Definitely understanding the, we want to be accountable to you all. So that's why when you all asked about the time and notification timeline, I want to be accountable to everyone and really explain the notification process. So please continue to hold us accountable. If there is ever an incident or any concerns or just a question, please don't ever hesitate to ask us. We definitely want to work in partnership. I'm not just saying that. Definitely want to relay that and share that. And also, when I'm taking the B41 home, I want to make sure that I'm, be like, you said I called you accountable. So I want to make sure that I'm good too. But in addition to that, we also are, because we want to continue to work in collaboration, this location will have a community advisory board that's going to be put together. So my team's going to be reaching out to, of course, the community board, the electeds, to work on putting together a small stakeholder group of individuals to really help us and advise us on how this location will be operating, of course, because we want to be able to work on things in real time. So just wanted to also share that before we got off the call, that is going to be an opportunity for folks to remain engaged.
Wonderful, great. Mr. Almona, I noticed that before we go, all the committee members, please stay on for just 3 more minutes, okay? After when we go. Mr. Almona, did you have something to ask, or I noticed that you unmute yourself?
Oh, no. Well, I just want to say thank you for bringing us that information, because a lot of us who live in the neighborhood, the reaction sometimes when you hear about it, you just react. So it's good that we get the information whenever it comes, preferably before then. And I think we have dealt with that. And I want to thank DSS and the Homeless Department of Services to join us in the community so we could help each other.
Yes, thank you so much. So thank you for coming, and looking forward for us to work, collaborating together and helping each other, holding each other's hand. Have a good night, committee members. Please stay on. Have a good night and a great weekend.
Thank you. Have a restful evening. Thank you
Have
for
a good
hosting us.
night.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Mr. Chair, you can stay too.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I have a meeting. It already started. I have a finance meeting starting, but I just wanted to, anyone have any report on our mental health forum coming up? Enid, anything?
Yes, I'm going to have Dr. Sutton presenting at that forum. So I'm going to get her specifics to you probably by next week.
Okay.
But definitely before our next meeting, you'll have her bio and all her specifics and what her angle will be. I think we talked about her focusing specifically on the taboos in the Black and Caribbean community about
Right.
seeking care. So that will be the angle that she takes.
Okay.
And-
So, Mina?
I have a friend who works for the health department, and her job is to make sure that people who need help, mental health, who haven't committed any crime, are actually going to their appointments, doing the things that they have to do. So she might be a good guess, but she was wondering, like, what, do we have a timeline, a date for the event? Or
May 4th, I think, the first Thursday of May. So we are using our platform for that day. Yeah, the first Thursday of May at 7 the same time.
all right, I'll see if she's available on that day. All right, thank
Okay.
you.
Because I was looking for it so I can go to the board office or just send it to Mia so we can put the flyers together so we can send out the save the date to the different. So I have already spoken to Kings County Behavioral Health. So they are on board. They're very happy. They're looking forward to, and then as you hear, Enid already have someone, and then we know that at our last meeting we will be reaching out to Camber, also have them on board to see what type of resources, what they have to give. And I'm calling, I'm not really getting through, but I'll be going to the 71st precinct to speak to someone there to find out as to who, if someone from one PP or one from the precinct, 171st precinct will be able to join us. It could be 1 or 2 persons who will be able to join us. And they've been there with us so that we can hear from them, because we've heard so many times, as I've mentioned before, the persons in the community complaining as to how when the police encounter someone who have given problems on the street, how they identify if that person has a mental issue, if that person is just out there giving problems. So we want to see, because they said that they do get training so that they could see, the different signs, so we want them to come on so they could have a dialogue with them as well. So we have, hopefully, that your person Minor could join us. We have someone for One Brooklyn Health and Kings County Hospital, and we are looking for one of the other organizations who deal with psychotherapy that it could come in, and then Camber also to join with us. So really on the panel, because I want it to be an interactive forum. I don't want persons to be sitting there and just talking. I want persons to be asking questions, and then because we want persons to have an open mind when it comes to mental health, because and even for us, we are okay, but sometimes we go through our own depression, we go through our own thing, we have our thing bothering us, and one person said one time that we don't feel that we should go and sit down and speak to a psychiatrist or psychologist or whoever just to talk, and then because we feel if we do that, they will label us as being crazy, so we just, especially for Black folks. So we are looking forward to have a good conversation. So anyone who has any suggestions or anything that you think we could put together in the package to make the forum, the program a great one, I'm all open, just text me. We have to have working meetings. So then there are days that we'll be meeting. I'll send out a text. So we're going to meet and discuss, because so by next week or so, I'm looking, because we're already in May, April, we're already in March, April, May. So the time is just flying. So we have to send out to the electives. So just get I want to get the flyer so we can send out, or even an email in the meantime and send something to have them to save the date, and so we can send out the flyer. So we'll be sending out those flyers to Community Board 8, Community Board 14, and Community Board 17, right? So that they could send them out there, and also to all the electives as well, so that they could put it out there to the on the listserv. Mr. Chair, anything you want to say? Mia, any additions, anything, any add-ons?
Well, I see Mr. Pruitt is looking to be recognized. So
Mr. Pruitt, I'm sorry.
Yesterday, I attended the Public Safety Subcommittee meeting, and there was a speaker there from the Attorney General's office who, they were talking about one thing, but it's funny how it just fell into our lap, but there are two district attorneys in the Brooklyn DA's office who specifically focus and concentrates on health and social services and mental health. And she said they're always there's a resource that that is not utilized a lot, and they would love to participate in whatever we do. Now, they were speaking not necessarily to us, but to the group as a whole. And so I didn't get a chance to call her today, but her name was Mrs. Mary Crawford, and I expect I will be calling her tomorrow to see what we can do about getting one of these two individuals or both of them, if need be, to participate in the forum.
Sorry about that. I was talking, not realizing that I'm muted. Yes, that is great. So just get that information early enough for me, and so that we can connect with them.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Chair? Yeah, thank you, Mr. Pruitt.
Yeah, no, very briefly, if I could, again, thanks for, to this committee and all the work, the fantastic work you do. And I apologize, I had hoped to get here way sooner this year. Haven't been able to participate and join the team, but knowing who your chair is, I know that this team is in great hands. You're doing fantastic work, and just really proud of that. Also, I just wanted to make the quick announcement. I did have the opportunity to actually connect with Black Veterans for Social Justice. And it was a very good conversation in terms of they did offer that there's a number of resources that they are able to connect veterans in particular in the district in. I think that's one of the areas of the board. It's near to my heart as a veteran that I would like to definitely make sure that we're more involved in. And hopefully I would like to at some point make the connection where they're able to come and speak to the committee and discuss a little bit in terms of some of the services and connections that they're able to offer for that sector. But again, thank you to everyone for your service.
Mia?
I'm good. I'm gonna report back to the team tomorrow so we can get working on the flyer and the
Okay.
save the date notices.
Okay, so
I'll
I
keep
have
you updated.
I have the theme that I'm going to look. I had the paper in my hand. I don't know what I did with it. So I have the theme and everything. So I'll send it to you.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Fred.
All right, thanks. So I'll be sending out an email. So most likely it would be not an email or text, so we can have a working. I know that everyone work during the day, so I think evening time is better. So we can just meet and just to tidy up that brainstorm as to what format we wanted to go. I know that I was told that we can use Cunningham's office, and he said so to me many times. But I think that if we do it on Zoom, we will have a bigger crowd, more persons will attend. So we will do it on Zoom instead of doing it in person. Okay. Thank you so much. And thank you, Miss Moses, and thank you, Suki, for staying on. And Alexandra, how are you?
I'm doing okay, thank you.
Okay, I only hope you're resting.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so thank you again, Mr. Chair, for being here, for your support. Suki, go ahead.
Thank you for letting me stay in your meeting. I just had a brief health-related comment. I'm not sure what we're supposed to do with it, but the borough president's comprehensive planning report supposedly has a health focus. And in my focus group, Fred and I went to this town hall meeting back in December. And in my focus group, there was somebody from CB9. I think actually she might have lived on your block, Francisca, on Lefferts, who said that she thought that density was impacting her mental health. I'm not sure, how you document that or anything like that, but I think, like she said she was working from home and the construction noise near her was really bothering her and that sort of thing. And you know, I can definitely relate to that. It can definitely drive you crazy. But I just wanted to throw that out there that that's sort of out there in the world that you know, I think there were maybe some other things they were looking at, like asthma rates and things like that. Fred, do you remember anything else they were?
No, I mean, absolutely. And just to give the background, so, you know, as Suki had said, so the borough president is working on a comprehensive, well, I want to make sure I represent it correctly, but it's a comprehensive plan in terms of understanding the different communities, the different health disparities, impacts, and basically coming up with a plan for Brooklyn in terms of if we're doing projects, especially I think around zoning and building and housing and whatever project developments that happen in communities, taking into account those different factors. So this is a conversation that's been happening from the borough level. I believe the ULURP committee is actually scheduled, if they haven't done already, they are scheduling for the borough president's office to come and present at their meeting. But it is probably, and you know, and thank you for bringing that up, Suki. It's probably a very good idea for, you know, we can have a conversation with the health and social services team in terms of understanding what those asks are. So you may be able to weigh on that as well. So Fran, we can have a conversation offline about that if that's something you want to take on separately, or if you want to go in through the ULURP angle, they'll be here already and you might have an opportunity to weigh in and ask questions as well.
Oh, you're right, Fred. As a matter of fact, they are scheduled to come into the ULURP on April 4th. So they have confirmed. So
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so when they go to ULURP, what will be the discussion? What's the topic that they will be discussing?
Well, and that's the thing. So they're looking at a zoning plan, but the idea of it is zoning to address health disparity. So in other words, how do we improve health? What are the determinants of health in the district? So that's where they've been looking for, but there's going to be a couple of crossovers because I think they're looking at in terms of if you're zoning, do you build more hospitals? Is that what you're zoning for? Do you need more hospitals? Do you need more facilities, or what kind of plans you want to have on a district basis? Okay. So there's some information, and we can try and look to see. There should be a plan. It's a long one. I'll see if we can find that and we can send that to your team, so that way you can look at it, discuss it, and see if you have any questions about that as well. But we'll get you that information. But they will be in the district on April 4th as the ULURP chair just advised.
Right, they haven't sent us a draft, but if they do, we would like to see it too. So at the end of the day, I don't know. Yeah, but I know I invited them. So at the end of the day, because they said they wanted to come into ULURP. Because again, even if you're talking about mental health or any other type situations, if they're building, they still have to do land. You know, they still have to have so many spaces up, down, across, and whatever. But they can have a draft plan, and I'm not sure exactly what it is. I haven't read it yet, and if you can get a copy of that, that would help us all, so we know in advance what kind
We'll make sure we get you a copy. It should be I'm sure it's available on Borough Hall's website, but we will get you a copy and we'll make sure it's distributed.
Thank you.
Okay, I have another meeting going on there now, and I'm trying to budget meeting going on. So I thank you guys for being here, and then we will talk about this a little bit more, so we can the committee could join with the ULURP, so we could have one discussion. So it doesn't make sense to meet separately. So thank you again, and committees, I will be meeting with you guys. And the only thing I'm asking Mia, if you could just send me a list of I know you did, because when you get so many emails and I didn't print it out, a list of my committee members, so I can keep tab of those persons, because I know all the committee members are not showing up. You know, those you see there, these are the faithful few. All right, so I would like to know who they are, so that we can deal with that.
Yeah, before I close out, I know you're interested in the FRESH program. Remember I said the ULURP committee, someone is coming out for 975 Nostrand. They're going to do a presentation on the 14th. So if you want to come out and participate, you're all welcome. It's at 7 p.m. and we'll get the information out to you.
Okay, thank you. Once again, thanks everyone. Have a good night, have a good Friday and a wonderful weekend. And thank you again for your support and for the work that's been
Good
done.
night, everyone. We'll
Good night,
catch up
Good
again.
night.
Good night,
All right.
everyone. Take care.
Good night.